You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC10 Plus Tonight. The latest on the arrest of a 26-year-old man in connection with United Healthcare CEO's killing in New York. And caught on camera, two young men damaging a woman's door in Carmichael, while police say they're not facing charges. ABC10 Plus Tonight starts now.
A suspect is in custody for the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, a McDonald's employee in Altoona, Pennsylvania, 300 miles from the shooting, identifying 26-year-old Luigi Mangione as acting suspiciously and matching him to images the NYPD circulated of the shooter.
When officers arrived, they made contact with the male who had a face mask on. That male was asked to remove his face mask, and officers immediately recognized him as a suspect in the New York City shooting.
NYPD racing to Pennsylvania. Police finding Mangione at that McDonald's with a ghost gun, possibly made with a 3D printer, without a license, and consistent with the one used in Thompson's murder in Midtown Manhattan, along with a fake New Jersey driver's license. Authorities say that license is the same one the suspect used to check into a hostel in Manhattan before the fatal shooting. They say they also uncovered a handwritten note with his motivation and mindset surrounding the shooting. Mangione was arrested on a weapons charge. Mangione is originally from Maryland, where he was a valedictorian at his private boys' school, seen here giving this graduation speech, and graduated UPenn with a master's in engineering. A year ago, he reviewed Unabomber Ted Kaczynski's infamous speech, writing he was a violent individual, rightfully imprisoned, who maimed innocent people, yet calling him an extreme political revolutionary. As an investigation continues to unfold, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro this afternoon addressing how some have celebrated the killing.
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero.
Mangione has been charged with 5 crimes non-related to the death of Brian Thompson. Zoreen Shah, ABC News Los Angeles.
A Carmichael resident is shaken up after she says 2 young men tried to kick her door in and shot off what she thought were real guns.
Yeah, in surveillance video, she would later discover they were toy guns. But as you can imagine, she says it was a terrifying experience. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has more.
Shortly after 9 Friday night, Megan McMahon Johnson says her peace was disturbed when 2 young men tried to kick in her door at her residence off Via Casitas in Carmichael. The footage was caught on her Ring camera.
They both kicked the door pretty forcefully, and they had 2 silver, what looked like revolvers.
McMahon Johnson says she was in the back of her home when it happened. And it wasn't until she reviewed the video that she noticed the guns were toy guns.
It was incredibly frightening. You don't know what people's intentions are, and to hear that and watching the video, you have a better understanding of what's going on, but as it's happening, I have no idea. I'm sitting here just enjoying my peaceful home, and you hear these loud booms and pops.
She says she called the non-emergency line. She told them what had happened, and they asked her to fill out an online report, which she did.
Once the deputies got there, the complainant confirmed that it was just kids with a cap gun and left it at that.
Sergeant Amar Gandhi says it's not a crime to have a fake gun unless the person tries to rob or threaten someone with it. McMahon Johnson says she still wants to see the young men held accountable, whether it was a prank or if there was ulterior motive.
Not only are you destroying property, and that would be the second thing, I want my doors replaced because both of them are now damaged from the incident. And the second part of it is just accountability. This is my place of peace. This is my home, and you have truly disturbed that.
In Carmichael, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
She's now asking her neighbors to help her identify the young men. Meanwhile, the sheriff's office says you should always call 911 if you ever feel threatened. New tonight, I'm sitting down with outgoing Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg as he reflects on 8 years in office. Talk about perhaps your proudest moment and then also your biggest regret.
You can never prove a negative, but I think being mayor through a once-in-a-century pandemic where the economy shut down, the city shut down, the rightful racial reckoning, the death of Stephon Clark, the murder of George Floyd, and being able to lead with strength and keeping the city largely together, I think I would count that right up there. Secondly, what we've accomplished these last couple of weeks in Sacramento.
The mayor announcing blockbuster projects in the final months of his term: the rail yard soccer stadium, a waterfront investment plan, and a new music venue.
All of these investments, in addition to creating jobs and increase our tax base, going to create a lot of memories for generations of Sacramentans.
All right, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods now. A busy day with the earthquake that happened this afternoon. My goodness. And then weather-wise, just a lot of rinse and repeat, it feels.
So how are things looking? I know we had a lot of fog this morning, huh?
We certainly did. Yeah, big changes, though, coming by the end of the week. So we are going to be tracking patches of fog for tomorrow morning, frosty conditions with lows in the 30s, and then we have that pattern shift with rain chances returning by the end of the week. So we're going to unpack it all. In terms of our current winds, those really kept the fog areas to a minimum for today, especially from Sacramento northward, where we're still seeing winds at 15 miles per hour plus, with gusts higher at about 20 to 25. Now, calm conditions in the northern San Joaquin Valley really promoted areas of dense fog this morning, with the dense fog advisory in place. As far as conditions right now in the Big Mountain backyard, our temperatures are in the low 50s to right around 60. Modesto, it was slow to clear, so we didn't see a whole lot of sunshine for today. We got to 52 right now. Marysville, Stockton, and Sacramento near 60, and then Tahoe, clear skies and 34 degrees. Now, lows over the next couple of days are going to fluctuate, but we're going to have a couple of frosty conditions out there Tuesday and Wednesday, with areas of fog and the frosty weather. As we head into the middle and end of the week, we start turning our attention more so to more clouds and rain entering the forecast. There is a lot going on in the Pacific, multiple systems that we're going to be tracking into the middle and end of the week, continuing into the weekend as our storm track starts to really shift. This all gets going overnight Wednesday into early Thursday, with rain making a reappearance into the forecast. Snow for the Sierra could see upwards of 25 to 30 inches of snow by the weekend. As far as our valley rain, it continues into our Thursday and then tapers off for our Friday. Friday's largely a dry day, but by the evening, we're starting to see the return of rain that will last through our Saturday. So moderate to high confidence growing now for showers this week, cooler temperatures with minimal impacts. Still lower confidence on the totals as well as the timing through the weekend. This is going to be a preliminary amount, about a half an inch or so through the valley, closer to about an inch to 2 inches of rain through the foothills, and for the Sierra, as I mentioned, anywhere from about 1 to 30 inches of snow. Good timing if you're headed up to the Sierra, because next week, later in the week, it looks like we turn back to a warmer setup. Highs near 50 for the Sierra tomorrow, 50s to near 60 down through the foothills. Across the coast, highs in the lower 60s, upper 50s for inland areas, and we'll see that represented as well throughout much of the valley. Morning lows close to about 30 to 35 degrees. So it's going to be quite chilly outside tomorrow. Then snow making a return by Thursday through the weekend forecast. Prepare for those changes here. Get the rain gear out, the snow gear, and be prepared for a lot of slow travel into the high country. 3-day forecast, variable clouds Tuesday and Wednesday, chilly starts, areas of fog, and then we quickly get into that more unsettled weather pattern Thursday through the weekend forecast into early next week. So some changes coming our way.
Nice to see some rain back in the forecast, though, huh? Especially during this time of year.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. We have a few days to prepare for it.
Yes,
That's good.
Right.
Monica, thank you.
When you come to this area, you always wanted to say hi and say thank to the Creator for, giving us the opportunity to come down and fish for your people and to have this land still.
It's here at Ishy Pishy Falls where the Creator slows the fall run salmon just long enough for Kenneth Brink and the Karuk tribe to celebrate the World Renewal Ceremony.
And everybody that is involved with the ceremonies of fish, we find our identity again. We find our spirituality. We find ourselves.
The word Karuk means people upriver, and for generations, they've been perfecting the skill of jumping rocks and balancing on wood planks to fish some of the most turbulent waters in the Klamath. Today, they're one of the last tribes in California to actively fish with traditional dip net poles.
By way of ceremonies and creation stories. So that's what kind of keeps us here, and these poles right here have not changed.
Ronald Reed Sr. has fished more world renewal ceremonies than he can count. But this ceremony, in August of 2024, is one he'll never forget.
Coinciding with the world renewal ceremony is dam removal on the Klamath River.
Undam the Klamath! Bring the salmon home! Woo!
This day was inevitable because without this day, there's no future for our people.
On August 28, 2024, tribes along the Klamath River watched as construction crews broke through the fourth and final dam set for removal. For the first time in over 100 years, salmon can now swim freely through 400 miles of their native habitat.
Right now, it just feels like all of the salmon, they can feel it. They know they're going to be able to come back home.
Behind the dam lies a century's worth of sediment buildup, over 17 million cubic yards, enough to fill more than 1,500 Olympic-sized pools. Since the dam's deconstruction began over 8 months ago, the release of sediment has lowered the oxygen levels in the Klamath River, killing aquatic life and harming wildlife along the riverbanks. Government regulators anticipated and prepared for these short-term deaths due to the sediment, but from the tribe's perspective, the muddy water is just a temporary setback that will lead to long-term benefits. On the other hand, some residents believe the way that the dams are being removed will lead to long-term problems.
We're the indigenous here. We live here. I mean, we know a lot about this land, and we could have added a lot of value to this operation.
Horse rancher William Simpson is a regular contributor to Siskiyou News, the area's local newspaper.
I don't like it when the American people are misled.
Simpson wrote several articles about how regulators ignored the knowledge of locals and ignored previous research on toxins in the sediment behind the dams.
Right behind me, we have Angus cattle that are grazing the grass and the brush that was planted in the sediment. They're accumulating whatever's in those sediments into their bodies, and CDM Smith says there's toxins. Not me, CDM Smith, a very capable laboratory out of Sacramento.
CDM Smith is the lab research group that federal regulators brought in to analyze the sediment behind the dams. In 2011, they published a multi-year study that looked at potential toxins in the sediment and suggested options of handling it.
CDM Smith said, we need to remove the sediments.
CDM Smith declined to talk to us about their 2011 sediment reports, so we took those reports to independent water expert Olukoyede Jegede, a UC Davis assistant professor of agriculture toxicology.
So if you take something out of context, you can create fear. You can tell people, oh, this is toxic, and it can create fear in people.
When it comes to toxins, the CDM Smith report only identifies trace amounts of harmful metals. And according to assistant professor Olukoyede Jegede, those trace amounts are likely what William Smith is writing about.
They did the analysis, I saw it. So it's just maybe 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 15.
In the long term, is the sediment, according to these reports here, would it be harmful to people?
No. In the long term, no.
About 560 miles north of the Klamath River in Washington state is the Elwha River.
Well, our name, Klallam, means strong people, but we have 30 villages up and down the Strait of Juan de Cupica, including Vancouver Island in Canada. So our presence has been here for millennia.
In 2014, this was the site of the largest dam removal project in the country. The river runs through the ancestral lands of the Elwha Kalalam tribe, and for over 100 years, 2 outdated hydroelectric dams block salmon from swimming upriver and spawning in what is now Olympic National Park.
And we could see fish down there bumping up against the wall of the dam.
Much like tribes on the Klamath River, Russell Hefner and Francis Charles are among the many tribal members who fought and successfully removed dams on the Elwha River.
We did it with a lot of determination. We're a small tribe. So I guess my parting words would be, we're not damned Indians anymore. We're damned proud of it, and we got our damn fish back. And if you keep working hard, so will you.
Though the Elwha is about 190 miles shorter than the Klamath River, both rivers have similar stories.
They were built illegally. The Elwha Dam was built without fish ladders.
Including problems with sediment behind the dams.
24 million cubic yards of sediment could have filled 8 Safeco fields.
Paul Gottlieb is a retired journalist from the Peninsula Daily News. He covered the dam removal on the Elwha River extensively. The removal process began in 2011 and took 3 years to complete.
The impact of the sediment was devastating on the existing salmon and invertebrates who lived. There was a 90 to 95% mortality of all living creatures in the river when those dams were released.
Paul says the sediment caused a slew of problems, including damaging the municipal water treatment plant in the nearby town of Port Angeles. Lawsuits were filed, people protested over the fishing bans, and some rural residents complained that their wells were going dry.
It took 8 years for the river to finally reach normal turbidity. 8 years.
The removal of the dams on the Elwha was a regular headline in the paper, but just like the sediment in the river, those headlines dissipated over time.
You don't hear a lot about people upset. They're just waiting for the fish to come back.
Back on the Klamath River, something amazing and a bit unexpected is happening.
Spawned out female. Fall Run Chinook, Jenny Creek, right here.
Just weeks after the final dam was removed on the Klamath River, the salmon arrived.
No, these are all repopulating fish from downstream.
Morgan Koneckley is a biologist with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, or CDFW, and he's been closely monitoring the exciting developments. In October and November, he and his team started counting salmon that managed to navigate through the sediment-filled waters of the Klamath River, and then these salmon made it all the way up to Jenny Creek, a tributary above the newly demolished Iron Gate Dam, where they now have started laying eggs.
We've seen over 250 fish swimming and returning back to this creek already since counting started. We'll have, be able to put that in context in future years, but right now we're coming from 0, right? So 0 to 250, yeah, this is great.
That's 250 fish counted in just one of dozens of creeks and tributaries along the Klamath River. As restoration on the Klamath River continues, the rest of the nation will be looking at the Klamath as a model for future dam removal projects.
I mean, I'd love to see this ecosystem the way it was 500 years ago. And I mean, if we do it right, we can move in that direction.
American Rivers, a nonprofit that tracks dam removal trends, estimates that 30,000 aging dams should be removed across the nation by 2050.
We have a lot of restoration, but the healing has to begin. The healing of the people, our communities that have been devastated by these dams.
Dam removal will soon affect everyone, and it'll require everyone to pay close attention. From the Klamath River, the world's largest dam removal project, I'm John Bartel.
Day in and day out, the Stockton San Joaquin Emergency Food Bank prides itself in providing food for people in need.
We're not just a food bank. We do more than just give away food. We also have education programs that teach people how to prepare that food.
ABC10 is partnering with the Grassroots Food Bank and several other food banks in our Stand Against Hunger campaign. What we have found is California produces nearly half the nation's fruits and vegetables, but roughly 1 in 5 people currently struggle with food insecurity.
While a very, very small percentage of our food goes to homeless, I want people to realize that it could be your neighbor. It could be somebody who had an unexpected emergency arise.
This could include everyone from children to the elderly to veterans. And to make the situation tougher, since the beginning of the pandemic, the number of people in need of food services in our area has nearly doubled.
When people come in from off the streets or wherever, and they just come and they're in need of food, so they come and they ask, sometimes I have to ask my boss, and he gives me the okay, and I give them the food, and I can see how happy and how much they really need it and appreciate it.
While they appreciate food drives, they are able to stretch the dollar a lot further when you give a monetary donation.
We have the capability of purchasing 5 meals for every dollar that's donated. So please pick up the phone, go online, check out our social media pages, and see how best you can donate.
If you want a steak and Santa Claus, we have a place for you. A Sacramento business is getting into the holiday spirit.
It's amazing. ABC 10's Marcus Allen has a look at the miracle on Broadway happening at a place called the Butterscotch Den.
Hey, good Monday morning, you guys. Nothing takes the Monday blues away like something this festive. Just take a look that way. Any which way you slice it, there is nothing not festive about the miracle on Broadway. I promised I wasn't going to cry, Lindsay, but I'm going to cry. This place is overwhelmingly awesome.
Thank you so much.
Nice work.
Thank you.
All right, Lindsay, explain what you did to create all of this.
Yeah, so the Miracle is a global Christmas pop-up phenomenon, and this is our second year being able to host it here in Sacramento. This is the best Christmas party you've ever walked into.
Awesome. An old boss always said, show it, don't say it. So these cocktails of which you speak.
Yes.
Well, suggest one. Let's make one.
Okay, so this one has been proven to be a favorite. This is the Krampus.
All right.
And this is also one of the collectible mugs. This is the Christmas Demon.
Merchandise we can gift.
Oh, yes.
All
you
right.
can drink here, hold it in your hand, and then box up a fresh one, take it home, put it under the tree, or throw it on your shelf.
All right, let's make it. While
Let's
we
do
make it, I'll
it.
ask you some other questions, hopefully not to distract you.
So this is Hellfire Bitters, just to kick off that spice.
All right.
And then we have ginger hibiscus. Everything is made here fresh every morning in-house.
So it's farm to fork when we talk about food. What's the equivalent of that in the bar scene?
Oh, I would say it's fresh juices. It's
Farm to fermented.
Yes, homemade
All right.
syrups, sourcing really great quality spirits, attention to detail, great ice, garnishes, fresh garnishes. So we have that ginger and hibiscus, and then our base is reposado tequila, mezcal, allspice dram, and a little bit of sherry.
All right.
Delicious.
Oh,
So we'll
sherry.
ice this up,
Okay.
give it a whip. Whoa.
You were showing video of what this place looks like when it's happening, and it's always happening. Quite popular, right?
Very popular, especially during December when we're hosting this pop-up.
And across town, we would be remiss if we didn't mention Snug, similar pop-up over there. Pick between your babies. Who do you like better?
Oh, it's so hard to choose. I think they're both different and delicious and fun. It just depends on the occasion. I love to sit here on the earlier side and have a full steak dinner with my husband and my daughter. We're kid-friendly. The Snug is still that perfect after-work place to get a drink, to bring your parents, but once the disco ball comes down late at night, it gets a little bit more fun and festive.
Can't get more fun than this, but in fact it can. All right, so this runs through the 1st till
This
when?
runs through, it's now until the 31st of our New Year's Eve.
All right, now through New Year's Eve, check out The Miracle on Broadway. Along with that, Snug across town. It's awesome. I'm feeling the Christmas miracle happening right now, so I'm going to pay this forward to the next person that walks through that door. So it's probably going to be like 12 hours. So I'm just going to be hanging out here until then. You don't have to stay, but I'm going to stay. All right.
Thank you.
Congrats on everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Back to you.
Yeah, that place is awesome. They do it right in terms of decorating for Christmas. You just feel like you're back in the day.
In the North Pole.
Yeah, play me some Sinatra, won't you? Be sure to tune into ABC 10 Plus later this week. A few of us went down to Butterscotch Den to hang out with Marcus Allen. I believe Jordan Tolbert is a suspect in this. So you'll see that on ABC 10 Plus. In the meantime, download the app on your streaming device if you don't already have it. It is free to download.
Thanks so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. Remember, we are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
Hey, Bob, here's dinner.
Thanks, Dad.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Good.
Are you not eating, Dad?
I had a really big lunch, a dinosaur-sized lunch.
I knew.
Yeah, and I'm not hungry.
No parent should have to choose who gets to eat. Go to abc10.com/standagainsthunger and make a donation today.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.